Hello, everyone. Sorry, just a cat thing. Hello, everyone. I am just gonna get everything all set up and all settled here for us tonight. And I'm gonna make sure that our friends on Facebook and on YouTube can see us. So I see Heidi and Pam are watching us, and a couple more friends are joining. So if you're watching on the Facebook page or on YouTube, then I can see your comments on my screen. But if you're in the Facebook group, the Double the Stitches group, I may not be able to actually see your comments while we are live. Let's see what I can do about that. Sean, I'm not sure. The best thing would be to go over to YouTube. Let me grab that link for you and I'll add that there. So for anyone who is trying to watch this in the Facebook group, you may not be able to see. I won't be able to see the comments. So if you head over to YouTube, that's probably the best option for you all. But so that I don't get distracted, I'm gonna stop checking the Facebook group comments, and I'll come back later and check those out. So we are live. Hello, happy Thursday, everyone. Hi, Denise, and Sean says I can see you, and hi, another Denise. We've got two Denises joining. So lots of people have joined my world in the last couple of weeks. And I wanted to kind of let you know everything that's been going on, everything that I am up to, everything that I have planned. And I thought that you didn't really want to read a super long email. I thought that this was going to be a better option. Hi, Judith. I see you joining us from North Carolina. So I have some slides and some things to share to help keep us on track and make sure I don't forget anything. Anyone else deal with that? Let me know. So we've got the slides over here. I'm going to make myself a little bit smaller so that you can see everything as we go through. All right, so let's dive in and get started. So it's Jessica here, and I want to welcome you to the December edition of Off the Needles. And I am so glad that you are here, whether you're watching live or you're catching the replay later. I love starting out our time together, hearing about where you're joining us from and what you're working on, and especially a shout out to my friends who have been working hard on their handmade holiday gifts since all the way back in, we did that in July or August. This past year, we got a head start on our handmade holiday making. So if you're finishing up gifts or you're casting on something new for the season, I can't wait to cheer you on. I love seeing what you're working on, especially when it's my designs. That really just fills my heart with so much joy to see what you create from my patterns. So you can share in the comments, and I'd love to hear what you're working on, if you brought your yarn with you tonight, or what you're planning on working on this week. Tonight is a really special celebration because I am getting ready to celebrate the Stitch Society is turning 4 years old. I can honestly not believe how quickly this time has flown. It has just been the best 4 years ever. I love the opportunity to connect with you all and get to know you all better, and to find that knitting circle, that knitting community that I was missing in my own life is what led me to create the membership. And so it has been everything that I was hoping it would be and so much more. So whether you are just joining my world or you've been a longtime friend for as long as I have been knitting and designing, or you've been with the Stitch Society since the early days, or you joined recently, you are what makes this community so warm, so kind, and so inspiring. And every stitch session, every finished project photo that you share with me, every question you ask, it all helps me to create this beautiful, welcoming corner of the knitting world. And I'm so grateful that you choose to spend part of your life and part of your creativity with me, that you let me join you, invite me along on your knitting journey. It really does mean so much to me. So for those of you who are brand new to my world, I want to take a little bit of a tiny walk down memory lane. I have lots of things to share with you. It's not just about the membership today. We've got workshops and a pattern test call that's going to be coming out really soon. So there's something for everyone here, and I'm thrilled that you're joining me tonight. But I wanted to just share a little bit about the membership as we approach our 4-year anniversary, for those of you who don't know about it. So it started with this simple idea. What if I created this cozy and supportive space that I was seeking, where knitters could learn and grow and connect without that feeling of overwhelm, without feeling alone? And so since then, we've grown into a community filled with hundreds of members at this point. We started our founding member launch with, I think it was 18 members at the time, 4 years ago. And I was just looking, Tane, out of those 18, 12 of you are still active members. And that statistic just kind of blew me away. So I'm grateful to you all for sticking with me through all of these years. And so it's a community, but more than just being a community, there is a monthly pattern code. So you get to pick any one of my designs right now. There's over 65. I mentioned I have a sneak peek at my next pattern that's coming out soon. We get together twice a month on Zoom for what I call stitch sessions, and I do my best to keep those, to give everyone who comes that has something that they want to share an opportunity to share, whether it's show and tell, something they're working on, a question that they have about a pattern or a project. Sometimes it comes from, those answers come from me, and sometimes what I think is one of the most wonderful things is that those answers don't just come from me, but they come from our members. And so with hundreds of members, I think we're well over 200 members at this point. It goes up and down with summits and trials and things like that. So there's hundreds of years of knitting experience within the community, and I recognize that I know a lot and I can find answers for you all when I don't know the answer. But the beauty of the community is also that it gives you the opportunity to share your own knowledge. So maybe someone is struggling with something that I haven't personally experienced, but another member has. And so that's a wonderful thing too. We all have our different approaches to solving our own knitting problems and ways we've gone about doing things. So I love that community sharing of knowledge as well. But speaking of what I bring, you also get on-demand access to 11 of my deep dive technique workshops. So those are available for you to watch anytime, at your own pace, on your own schedule, so you don't have to worry about the time of day and any of that stuff. Invitations to join me for live workshops. The next one is called Sweater School, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a few minutes. But the first session for that one is next Thursday. It's just 2 sessions where the content is the same, which is different than the Brioche workshop, which I'll also talk about. And the Brioche workshop is a 6-week workshop, so there'll be new lessons each of the 6 weeks that are pre-recorded, but we'll get together on Zoom for support throughout that. That's going to start in January. And like I mentioned, so you get this thriving, encouraging space for knitters at every level, whether you are kind of new to knitting or you have been knitting for many, many years. I find that everyone kind of finds their home and their space within the community. And so it has really been so amazing watching all of you grow your skills and your confidence. And honestly, it's what inspires me to keep on designing, to keep on teaching. And I just got an email from Pamela that I'm going to share with you in a little bit. But I mentioned workshops. So these are the workshops that I have taught in the last 4 years. These are just pictures from some of them, but we've done the Beginner's Guide to Lace Knitting. We've conquered cable knitting. Any of you that are here from Lizzie's party, you have access to grab that workshop, the Conquer Cable Knitting workshop. My A Taste of Brioche knitting workshop, that's what we're going to do, a live cohort, a group for that coming up in January. We're going to go through that course together. I've taught Oops, Learn to Fix Your Knitting Mistakes. We've learned how to knit tiny treasures, my mini stocking workshops, challenges. both from the toe up and from the cuff down. So if you're nervous about knitting socks, I've got you covered. We have dove into double knitting with what I called Double Dare, which was a knitting challenge that I ran. So you have access to all of that. That was a full week worth of lessons. The Mosaic Knitting Challenge, we did a little mini one as part of the Knit Happy Summit if you join me for that. But the full Mosaic Knitting Challenge teaches also how to knit mosaic in the round, and there's a cozy cowl project that's part of that. And we've had the Handmade Holiday Challenge, and we've done Fair Isle Fundamentals and the Art of Shawl Knitting. So there's a lot in there. And many of those workshops are also available individually as well. And as I built the membership over the last 4 years, I needed to make sure that there was a classroom that you'd have access to that was easy to use. And so we've gone through a couple of iterations of that. I've tried a couple of things, and you guys have come along for the ride. So thank you for your patience as I feel like I finally have found our home for our classroom. It's searchable. You can adjust the point size. It's easy to find things. And so I'm really, I've kind of fallen in love with our classroom. And that is where you can find the workshops and all the information about the membership as well, and replays of different events. So I mentioned that I got an email that I wanted to share with you all from Pamela. Now I know the font might be small on the screen, so I'm going to read it to you. And I'm just checking on the comments before I go ahead because I got kind of distracted and I want to make sure I say hello to you all. So hi to Linda and Anita and to Tammy and Joan and Francine. Denise says, good gifts for others are done. That is so, how great does that feel, Denise? And she is making first socks for her with a candy cane striped yarn because it's been really cold here in Wisconsin. There's an automated message there. Sorry about that, friends. And Pam is working on the exquisite cables throw that I wrote to you about. Pam, that's your message. Your email, it just made my day. So I'm so glad that you are here because it really just meant so much to me to have this pop up in my inbox today. So Pam has about 8 inches done now on the exquisite cables throw. And it's my pleasure. I'm so glad that you have found everything useful and helpful. And Joan is making herself an Afghan. And Denise says, mini stockings for the win, helped with gifts and prepared me for socks. Christina, you made it. I'm so glad. And Laura's here too, and Barbara and Pat. Oh, and Fiona's just had cortisone in my hand, no knitting. Oh, I hope you feel better soon. All right, so this message that appeared in my inbox today was I was actually working on what was I going to share with you all today about the membership and about my workshops and my teaching. And it's like Pamela knew that I needed to see this message today. So I will read it to you. It says, hi, Jessica. I just wanted to send you a quick big thank you for all your hard work and encouragement. This morning I have pulled out a throw I started several years ago. It is a Red Heart exquisite cable throw in cherry red, which sounds beautiful, Pamela. And I remember I lost count, dropped a stitch, and unraveled several rows, and I didn't know where I was. And I put it away in frustration and didn't think I would ever look at it again. And she goes on to say, fast forward to today, I'm able to count the rows. I know exactly where I am in the pattern. I've already progressed several rows this morning. I am so excited. It is all due to you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. So thank you, Pamela, from the bottom of my heart for sharing this moment with me, because that's kind of why I do what I do. That's what this is all about, is it's my hope to help you make progress, to help you know where you are in a project, to help you be able to fix a mistake if there is one, to help you keep moving forward on those projects that you really do want to make and that you really want to be successful with. So thank you for sharing that. And then there were two others that I wanted to share. Laura said, love Jessica's clear guidance and very much enjoy the workshops I attended. I'm not a beginner, but I had been hesitating over new techniques or projects I thought too difficult. I gained confidence to finish a challenging sweater I put in timeout for almost 3 years. Let me know if you've ever put a sweater in timeout for years, as well as using a pattern and even modifying to other sweaters. And that was from Laura. And then a short one from Shar says, "You are my favorite teacher. Your style, speed, explanations, and consistently rich in content, smooth flowing, complete, and well demonstrated." Oh, that really, you guys just made my day seeing these. And so I wanted to take a moment and share those with you all. Pat is working on the ergotic wrap. And Anna says, "My doc also said no knitting while on a month of Celebrex, but we'll have to wait until gift knitting is done." And Marion says, "Hi, I am knitting fingerless mitts." Wonderful. I'm so happy to see so many of you here today. So let's dive into a couple of the things I wanted to make sure, upcoming exciting things that are going on that I wanted to share with you all. So some of you have been waiting for this, and I'm excited to share that Double the Stitches Sweater School is something that starts next week. I'm really, really excited to dive into this one with you all. This is not a sweater knit along, so those of you who are on a knitting break, fear not. We're not actually going to be knitting. It's a 90-minute workshop. I'm teaching it on 2 different days to accommodate different time schedules and life schedules and time zones and all of those things. But the content in it is going to be the same. So you can come to one or you can come to both. This is a paid workshop. And the link might be small on the screen. Let's see if I can make that link. Did I save it here? Sweater School. So it should hopefully be a little bit bigger on the bottom of your screen at doublethestitches.com/sweater school. And let's see if I can share this tab instead. Let's see if that worked. It did. Yay. I love when technology does the things that it is supposed to do. So I'm going to talk you through a little bit about what Sweater School is. So my goal with this is to help those of you who have always wanted to knit sweaters that fit, but are left guessing and stressing and hoping for the best. And so this workshop is for you if you have been there. We'll talk about measurements. We'll talk about ease. We'll talk about understanding and reading schematics. We'll talk about yarn choices, sweater construction, from the type of sweater, meaning is it a circular yoke? Is it a raglan? Is it a drop sleeve? And we'll also talk about sweaters knit from the top down and from the bottom up as well. So I want to give you kind of everything that makes sweater, the knowledge that helps to make sweater knitting feel empowering instead of intimidating. And I want you to walk away with the clarity and the confidence to knit your first or your next sweater, and no more mystery sleeves or surprise sweater results. I talk a little bit more on the page here as well. And I'll put that link in the chat as if it lets me. Let's see if that will work. So hopefully that will be clickable both on YouTube and on the Facebook page if you want to open it and save it later, but I'll also be in the description. Okay, so we're looking to avoid why most sweaters don't fit and how to avoid that heartbreak. Some of the things that I'm going to be talking about, like I said, we'll talk about gauge, how to measure and adjust your gauge so your sweater actually fits, how to choose your best size. We'll make the understanding of ease, whether it's negative or positive or 0 ease. I'll explain and walk you through what it actually means and how to choose the amount that works for your personal preferences and style. We'll talk about, like I said, sweater styles from raglan to yoke to drop shoulder, set-in sleeve, and we'll talk about the difference and the benefits and what to expect from them. We'll talk about sweater construction, so top down versus bottom up, and seamed versus seamless, and some of my tips for finishing your sweaters like a pro, how to mattress stitch, the 3 needle bind off, and a couple of other tips. Maybe we'll dive in to the Italian bind off, which takes forever, but it is so worth it, friends, because it makes such a beautiful rolled over edge. And it gives you some nice stretch, especially if you're knitting from the top down. If you've ever had sleeve cuffs that were too tight, or the hem that was tight as well. So some of the workshop details, like I mentioned, I am teaching this live twice. So the content is the same, and you can choose the time that works best for you, or you can attend both sessions. And those are Thursday, so next Thursday at this time, 7 o'clock Eastern, or next Saturday, the 20th. Like I said, it'll be about 90 minutes for the workshop, and I'll include some time for Q&A as well. And a replay is included, so if you can't make it live, that's okay. You can still sign up. Anyone who signs up for the workshop and my active current Stitch Society members will also get access. We'll get it. Let me back up a second. So if you sign up and purchase, pay for the workshop, you get ongoing access to the recording inside of my online classroom. So if you can't make it live, you can watch at your own pace, revisit whenever you need a refresher. My current and active Stitch Society members will get a code to use to sign up to join for the workshop. And then just to give me an idea of how many people are planning to come live, but the workshop will also be added inside your classroom. The replay will be there for you as well. And you'll have access to that for as long as you are a Stitch Society member. Those who signed up for Knit Your Year last year for this coming year, you'll automatically have an invitation to join and access in the online classroom since you purchased that. So, of course, you may want to know how much is the workshop. So there is an early bird price of $37 from now until the 15th. Otherwise, it will be going up then to $47. So $37 now, you can save $10. So some less than the cost of a really luxury skein of yarn, and will save you hours of frustration and frogging. So if you go to the link for Sweater School, there's a button to click, which will bring you to this part of the page. So you do have two options here. So you can, until the 15th, sign up for just the workshop at $37. It's a one-time payment, no ongoing subscription or anything like that. And you'll get the invitation to join me live for both sessions and ongoing access to the replays. I don't like to say lifetime access because that gets a little bit tricky, but lifetime of my business, and I'm not planning on going anywhere because I'm having way too much fun. The other way that you can join me is you can join the Stitch Society membership, and that is $27 a month. Your first payment will be whenever you join, and you'll be able to lock in that rate of $27 per month. There are also 6-month and annual options, and I'll talk about that later as well, where you can save a little bit of money, but on the entry low bar to entry, $27 a month. So yes, it is $10 less. And then you get to join me for not only Sweater School, but also all the perks of being in the membership. You get a pattern code every month to redeem on Ravelry, access to ongoing and on-demand access to 11 additional workshops, live Zoom stitch sessions. We have one coming up on the 14th. Is that Saturday? I think it's Saturday. Or Sunday, whatever day the 14th is, that's our next stitch session. And that's also the official anniversary of the membership. So you can, if you click on sign me up, then it will just bring you to a page just like this. Or if you click on join the Stitch Society and get the workshop, if you click where it says tell me more, then you'll be brought to a page that shows you all of the information. But the prices for both the Stitch Society membership and the workshop are going up on the 15th. So on the 15th, this 37 becomes 47, and this 27 becomes 34. So if you join or sign up before then you save some money. All right, let me head back over to, there we go, and check on, see if there's any questions. Darlene says I could have used that. I just finished my first top. It is not the size I wanted. Sean says you've gone blurry and the screen is blurry too. Is it this way for, you can try refreshing the page. I don't know if anyone else is having the blurry issue. Pam, and Pam says Sunday. Yes, so thank you for that. Yes, I'm not sure about the blurry thing, but I'm going to keep going because there are more things I wanted. Denise's mine is fine. So yeah, Sean, try leaving and coming back maybe. Let's keep going because I don't want to keep you here all night, but I've got more to share with you all. So the next thing I wanted to talk about is the Taste of Brioche, the winter session, and that starts after the new year and will run for 6 weeks starting on January 6th. So this is a workshop that already exists. I have taught it a couple summers ago, and we went through it over the course of a summer. So each week there were additional lessons added. Those were pre-recorded at the time. And then we did a live check-in on Zoom every week where we celebrated your progress. And I was there to help support and answer your questions and all of that stuff. So instead of just a 90-minute workshop, it's a full brioche workshop. And we talk about a ton of different topics when it comes to brioche. So let's share this tab. And I have to fix that. So I wanted to just share what we're going to cover in this workshop. So a glimpse of what you'll learn in the workshop. So we'll start out, week one, we'll start out with brioche basics. So learning the fundamentals, the history of the knitting technique, how to pick yarn colors to make your 2-color brioche knitting project easier, and also to get your projects to really pop. We'll go through the unique stitches and techniques that make brioche knitting so captivating. It is the brioche knit, the brioche purl, and slipping stitches with a yarn over. I'll explain all of that, demonstrate it. You'll have all of my video tutorials to watch at your own speed, at your own pace. You'll get a new batch, a new group of lessons each week. And there is a Taste of Brioche ear warmer and cowl pattern that you'll have access to as part of it. So the ear warmer's on the left, and I've been wearing that like crazy this winter. It's been keeping my ears nice and cozy. There's also a cowl if you're looking for a bigger project. Both are great places to get started. And then on week 2, we'll talk about fixing common mistakes and troubleshooting, the skills that really help you learn how to fix your stitches when you drop a stitch in brioche. For those of you who have ever worn pantyhose and you get a run in your stocking and everything just really unravels, it's worse than like regular stockinette stitch. But it is not hard to fix if you know how, and I'm going to walk you through all of that. So I'll guide you through the troubleshooting process to help you figure out what the mistake actually is and how to go about fixing it to hopefully give you a smooth and enjoyable experience. And I'll show you how to read your stitches so you can easily find where you are in the pattern even when you get distracted, and also how to use lifelines in brioche knitting. We'll also talk about reading and understand brioche knitting charts. We'll walk through reading a charted pattern together. These patterns have fully written instructions, plus they also have charts. So you can start to see kind of how it works. And if you can read your stitches, then you can find where you are in a pattern and in the chart, and it all kind of starts to come together. So these projects are all brioche knitting with 2 colors worked in the round. But I didn't want to leave you there. So week 4, we're going to talk about brioche stitch knit flat in 2 colors and different cast on methods that you might want to explore for The cowl and the ear warmer, you can just cast on with any method. I like long tail, but you can use any method for casting on. So we're not going to get into the more complicated two-color cast-ons and all of that until later on, because I wanted your initial focus to be on brioche. I didn't want to start you off with a struggle of learning a new cast on at the same time. So you'll understand week 4 the differences between brioche charts for knitting in the round, knitting flat, and how to work the stitches when they're flat, because it is different and it is easier. I start you with it in the round because brioche knitting is easier. It is easiest 2 colors and knit in the round. It gets more complicated when it's knit flat, and it is harder to see and understand where you are in the pattern when you do it with one color. So you might think flat knitting one color would be easier, but with brioche, that is not the case. And let me see, also week 5, I'll talk about some other variations of the brioche stitch. So things like fisherman's rib and the bee stitch, and we'll go through some of those together. And week 6, we're going to dive into brioche increases and decreases, and that's when we start working on the hat pattern, which is shown at the bottom, not on your screen right now, but I will go back and share that picture with you all. So with the workshop, you also get the hat pattern, and then you get additional bonuses. You get 3 patterns, and you get bonus resources and cheat sheets for brioche knitting. So that starts on January 6th. I'll go back and share that tab so you can see that. So this is the beginning of the hat there, down there at the bottom. And like I said, so that's a New Year's project. There'll also be a sweater knit along in January. January is going to be jam-packed. So I'll announce that information as well. I know my Stitch Society members have been waiting. We're going to knit my my coterie sweater, but I'll share that the next time that I go live, because I don't want to overwhelm you. I always have so many things to share. When I take a moment and I think about it, there's just always a ton of stuff. All right, so like I said, so we'll go through together, and you'll have support. I will be there to answer your questions, to help you if you stumble, if you need a helping hand. One of the things that I love about teaching online workshops, as compared to teaching to attending like an in-person workshop, is when you attend an in-person workshop, however long it is, right? If it's, an hour, 2 hours, whatever it is, when you leave, maybe you get some handouts or, things like that, but you don't have access to rewatch what was demonstrated, right? You get the teacher's help in person, which is an absolutely priceless thing, right? To have someone watch your hands and be able to see where you maybe made a mistake, and they can physically show you, demonstrate in person, and correct you. But the benefit, the beauty to an online workshop is that you can slow the video down, you can speed it up, you can rewind it, you can watch that same 30-second part where you're struggling as many times as you want, and you don't have to worry about feeling like you're bothering anyone, right? Or you're slowing down the class, or you can just keep rewinding if you need to, or you can speed it up if you feel confident already in that piece. So you get the access to the videos, and that's why I did the brioche not live, but with the lessons pre-recorded, because I wanted to give you that right out of the gate ability to rewatch things. So that's what I love about teaching online. That's why I have kind of fallen in love with this way of teaching. And it is normal to fall a little bit in love with two-color brioche once it clicks, and it really does happen to the best of us. So if you join the Stitch Society before the 15th, then you get access to everything that's already part of the membership, right? Plus, you get to join me for the workshop that's coming up next week, which is Sweater School. And then if you're still a member in January, then you also will be invited to join me for the live session of A Taste of Brioche. So it's a really amazing time to get in and join and participate and be part of everything. And if you're still a member in the spring, I'll say spring right now because I haven't nailed down a specific date. But the Knit Happy Summit is coming back in the spring. And so you'll get the extended access pass if you're still a member at that time. So you'll get access to all of those recordings from the from the summit. Sorry, I was reading a comment in the chat. Marion says, yes, I will be there. I love the samples. And Darlene says, my friend and I went to a brioche class at the PEI Fiber Festival. I found the instructor went too fast. And Denise says, Jessica does not go too fast. Thank you, Denise. Very patient and stops for questions. Yes, I definitely, kind of like I am now, I'll share some information and then I take a break, take a pause to see what's going on in the chat, give you an opportunity to, when we're on Zoom, to come on screen and unmute and ask your question. To send me, an email, a picture of where you're struggling so that I can help you. And sometimes what that leads to during a workshop like the Brioche workshop is that I will add a supplemental video into the classroom, because I find that sometimes when someone is brave enough to raise their hand and say, hey, I'm struggling, that's a gift to every other person that is attending that workshop, because not everyone is brave. Not everyone likes to raise their hand and say, I'm lost, I need help, can you help me? And so I really cherish and I honor those of you who are willing to, to stand up and say, hey, or even just, can you slow down? And I always will, but I tend to go over sometimes on time because I will demonstrate it once and then I'll show it again and then ask, if you're following and all of that stuff. But having the pre-recorded workshop makes that process all smoother. And Anita says, you spoil us, Jessica. Oh, that means the world. Thank you, Anita. Sean May says, I made a brioche cowl in the round. Then a few months later, I tried to make a project in brioche that was not in the round and couldn't do it. This would be a good class for me to take. How much is the brioche class? I'm going to have that price later, later today. So I will actually tomorrow, I'll update that later today, but tomorrow I am going to send an email to everyone on my list. So if you're on my list, look for that. It'll have the link to the replay for today, the links to the Stitch Society, to the Sweater School sign up, to Brioche, and that will have the price. I just needed to finalize one other thing for the Brioche class. So look for an email from me tomorrow about that. And a couple other things, and then I want to hang out and see if you have any questions or anything about the membership, about my patterns, about my workshops. I'm going to stay on as long as you have questions. You let me know what questions you have. But before we go into the Q&A, 3 quick reminder things. So some of you may know earlier this week on Tuesday, I got to participate in Marley Bird's 24 days of Quickies for this year, and it's still going on. That was day 9. So I guess, yes. So today's the 11th. Today is day 11. So there's a different knitting pattern, and I think at least 1 crochet pattern, possibly even 2 crochet patterns, and a discount from Marley or some of her friends like me. I can't share the lineup of who is, coming up next because that is kept a secret. But if you're looking to get to know some other designers, head over to marleybird.com/blog /24-days-of-quickies-2025, or also probably if you go to marleybird.com, there should be a link there. You know what? I can put that link in the chat. Maybe. Can I find it? So it's that there's patterns from all different designers, and they are free as a gift to you for coming and spending some time on Marley's blog. So you have to look for a special button, and that will bring you. Some of the designers like me had a link to sign up for my email address so that I could send you the pattern, and others may link just to a blog post, and then there's a link to get the PDF from their blog. So just follow along, follow the instructions. I dropped that link over in the chat. The other thing I wanted to share, I mentioned in an email, I only sent one email because this is not entirely, it is basically not knitting related, okay? There are some personal development, crafty related things. If you run a business, like a small business, you may find helpful things there. But so Lizzie Goddard is one of my mentors. She's someone that I follow that I have learned a ton from over the years. And every year she hosts something called Lizzie's Christmas Party. And she gets together with, I think it's 170 people that she hand-selected, hand-picked. You have to actually apply to be part of this. And so it is a free product from someone who sells something online. So it's a workshop or a template or a download or a printable, or these are things that people actually sell, and they can't have been given away for free in the last 2 years. So my contribution, I'm so honored and so excited to be part of it. And my contribution was my Conquer Cable knitting workshop. So if you go to lizziesparty.com/double the stitches, you can sign up. It is 100% free to sign up. All 170 of the products are also free, but you need to sign up for specifically, if you attended the summit, it's kind of the same idea. You have to, sometimes there's a coupon code to redeem where, so you can get the product that is usually for sale for free. And the only way that all of these 170 wonderful humans can share their access with you is by signing up with your email. So you only sign up, you only get access to the things that you hand select that you want to sign up for, but you have to register, RSVP to the party. I think you have until 8 o'clock Pacific time. Yeah, I can share this tab instead that has the countdown. So, so there's 7 hours and change left. So you'll just sign up with your name and your email, and you'll RSVP, and then there's tons of different things. They're all listed on that page, so you can see what is included in it before you even sign up with your email address at all. If you do register for any of the products, my suggestion to you is, or my request rather, you'll get welcome emails from that person. So you can always unsubscribe if you're not interested in hearing from them anymore. But don't mark the emails as spam. You signed up for the thing, so they're not spam. So you can search and see what's there. So like, I can select crafts. There's a sweary coloring book for anyone who's into that. If you didn't make a holiday greeting card, there's a training for Canva. That's my cable challenge. If you've ever wanted to plan a murder mystery party, there's an event planner. That's some of the stuff. What else is there? There's health and wellness things. So if you wanted to get into healing with crystals, if you want a blueprint to stress-proof your day, if you want some mindfulness, yoga breathing to improve energy, sleep, and stress, a wellness and balance tracker, the couples connection, 14-day self-care series, medicines that are in your kitchen, the 3-step sleep well systems. There's a lot of different stuff. It is not all business related. And let's just check one more other category. What else? Let's see, personal and home. So year-round family fun toolkit if you have children. What else did I see? Travel. And let's get rid of this one. There's a quick copy packing guide. And what else is there? Self-care. Let's see what else there is. Low energy workplace survival guide, yoga breathing, we talked about, a tarot deck, that is printable. Start your day the Astro way. So lots of different, all kinds of different things. So you can explore it. There's a mindful coloring guide. So lots of stuff. And I'll put that link in the chat here too. LizziesParty.com. All right, so let's share this tab instead. All right, so the last of the three things, I kind of made this announcement in a big newsletter email, but I am teaching in person in the spring at the Gold Coast Knitting Retreat. And I want to share that page with you all. So I'm really excited about this. Cheryl at Knit Long Island, which is a local yarn store near me, reached out and invited me to be part of their spring retreat. It is Saturday, April 18th and Sunday, April 19th. And it is on Long Island in New York. And so there are different packages. There's an option to book a room at a hotel, or if you're local and you don't need a hotel. So I am just so honored to be among amazing designers. There are three others. So Lavanya Petrosella, Zandy Peters, and Lisa K. Ross. There's morning classes, mid-morning and a mid-afternoon snack break. Lunch is included. There'll be a marketplace available for shopping. There'll be more afternoon classes, some swag, and there's a free pizza party for attendees on Friday, the day before. And the hotel that they're using is 10 minutes from where their classes are being held. And it's 2 days of classes. So there is beginner brioche with Lavanya, who I wrote a book on brioche knitting. So she's a great person to learn from. I-cord, cast-ons, bind-offs, and everything in between with Zandy Peters. I'm teaching my Learn to Fix Your Own Knitting Mistakes class in person there, and Step into Sock Knitting with Lisa K. Ross. And that is the morning classes on Saturday. Saturday afternoon, I am teaching Beyond the Symbols, the secrets of knitting charts. And Lavanya is teaching brioche and garter. And Zandy is teaching Make a Swish Net Scarf. And Lisa K. Ross is teaching The Magic of Mosaic. So that's the Saturday classes. And then on Sunday is Advanced Brioche, is a hat pattern project. And Zandy is teaching the Boardwalk Wrap and the Lattice Stitch. I am teaching Conquer Cable Knitting. That's on Sunday morning. And Lisa K. Ross is teaching Knitting on the Bias. And that's the Sunday morning classes. Sunday afternoon is Beginner Brioche 3 with a scarf pattern. I'm teaching the Beginner's Guide to Lace Knitting. And Zandy Peters is teaching Center Out Knitting. And Lisa K. Ross is teaching Color Play with Color Work. So there's just a wonderful opportunity to be in person. I'm honored to be part of the event. So myself, Zandy Peters, Lisa K. Ross, and Lavanya Petrosella, and that is in April. So those are the three big announcements. The link, it looks like it did post. Okay. All right. So let me go back over here. And I am here for any questions that you have. Over the past week, I have gotten a bunch of questions about patterns, workshops. Oh, I didn't show you the hat. Let me show you the hat, the new pattern, and then we'll do Q&A. Here we go. All right, so this is a hat that I have been working on for a while. It might look a little bit familiar to some of you because we have seen this stitch pattern before. It's actually behind me. My Color Crush shawl is what's on the chair there. And I turned it into a hat. So this is a fingering weight hat. But I know that those of you in colder climates might not want a fingering weight hat. This uses fingering weight, and then I used 3 minis. And all of this yarn is from the amazing Meg of Megs & Co. And so I got some of her Empire Estate yarn, and I knitted in, this is like a DK weight yarn. So I knit it, and then I reversed the colors, and I love how different it looks in the two colors. Let me see if I can hold that up. So that is with my amazing tech editor. We are working through some last minute updates and gauge and all of those things. And then I will be putting out a call for a test knit. That's the Color Crush hat. And so the test knit call will open soon, but I know it's the holidays and I know that you're all really busy. So we're going to have an extended testing period for that. And then that pattern will actually, I'm aiming to publish it in January for it to be my first pattern of 2026. Because I don't need to put pressure on you all. So I want to have it for you so that if you do want to test and you want a quick project like in the DK weight for a gift as a test knitter, then you hopefully will be able to do that, but it won't be due. The test won't be due until after Christmas, to give you the flexibility and freedom if you have other things on your list. So because I'm so grateful for my test knitters and I don't want to stress anyone out. So wonderful, kind comments. Pam says, I love those colors. Susan says the hats are great. Darlene says very pretty. Pat says your Color Crush shawl is one of my favorites on my to knit list. Love the hat. And Fiona says love, love, love the hat, especially the colors. Yeah. So and some of you may remember my coaster from the summit. So that was the same yarn. And so you get plenty with the yarn. I still have this left over. So I made 2 hats, a coaster, and I still have lots of yarn left over. So you have, yeah, it's a great hat for like stash busting, for using up little scraps left over from socks or from other projects. So that is, that's going to be my first 2026 pattern, which has been on the back burner for a little bit. And I'm excited to finally dive in and share that with you all. So no, I didn't want to share that one. So let's get into it. Let's see if anyone has any questions for me. Anything that you are wondering about my patterns, about any of the workshops, any of the retreat, I'll answer as best as I can. Neith says, yay for post-holiday schedule. Yes. So I got all of us really excited, right, to do the Handmade Holiday Challenge over the summer. And so many of you have been diligently working on your gifts and finishing them and all of that. And then I keep coming up with these like bright little shiny objects. So I'm going to give you a break and that'll be due for January. So some of the questions that I get, I wanted to kind of answer. And if you have any questions for me at all, please drop them in the chat and I'll answer as many as I can. As one of my mentors, Sandra often says that the most uncomfortable place to be is on the fence. So I want to help you make the best decision for you about whether that's about joining me in the Stitch Society membership, whether that is about signing up for sweater school or joining me for a taste of brioche, or just anything specific. Ask me anything kind of, and I'll hang out for a bit. One of the questions that comes up a lot is wondering if you need to be an experienced knitter to join the Stitch Society. And the answer is no. I would say that my patterns, that you get a code that you can use towards any of my patterns. So some of them are more simple, where they are knits and purls. And so if you're comfortable with that level of knitting, there are patterns from the membership that you can enjoy. But the best thing about coming into a small group where people know you and get to know you over time is that you start to have more of a comfort level of being able to raise your hand and ask a question, because you have a connection, as compared to, I've seen people post as beginners in some of those really big Facebook groups, and they're new to knitting and they just don't know. And sometimes people are not kind, and that breaks my heart, because that lack of kindness can turn someone off from knitting, from the knitting community. And so I'm always there to help and guide you. You'll have a wealth of knowledge with the different workshops that you'll have access to in the membership, and a group where you can come and ask questions. Neat says, are your shiny objects the gifts you are making? Yes, some of them. Some of them will be gifts. As far as what's included each month in the membership, so besides the workshops, you get a code to redeem for any of my patterns. So you get your choice. What I used to do when I first started the membership is I gave you whatever my newest pattern that I was releasing. That was the pattern that everyone got. And then it occurred to me that that maybe wasn't the best approach, because not everyone is at the same point in their knitting journey. Not everyone likes to knit the same things. And I wanted you to be able to, or maybe you're at a point in your life, maybe you have a baby shower from someone in your world coming up, and you'd rather knit a baby blanket than a shawl. So I didn't want to give you the newest pattern always, although the code will definitely work on the newest pattern. But I wanted to give you the opportunity to pick something that meets you where you are in your knitting journey. So you also get access to all of the workshops. We have our private community. We get together on Zoom twice a month and do a lot of show and tell, a lot of, I'm struggling with this. I have a problem with this. Does anyone have a suggestion for how to handle this? So we do a lot of that, and it's just an opportunity to be in community with other knitters, and it's the highlight of my month. We do it twice a month, and it's usually on a Tuesday evening or a Thursday evening, depending on my schedule, is one of the sessions. And because I try to accommodate, we have members all over in all of the US time zones, but we also have members in Austria, in the UK. I think we have some in Australia. So kind of global. And so time zones can be hard. So I also do a session that is on a weekend, either Saturday or Sunday. And it's usually about 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So I try to alternate the Tuesday, Thursday, and the Saturday, Sunday as best as I can, so that more people can join us. You also get invites to whatever it is that I have coming up. Like I mentioned, the Knit Happy Summit will be back this year. And Darlene says, I'm in Nova Scotia. I'm so glad you're here from so far away. I'm all the way in New York. So I try to accommodate, different schedules and time zones as best as I can, but you have access to the workshops you can watch anytime, and the community anytime. There's also, I give you access to my Zoom, where you can, like, it's a private, separate Zoom room. It's not set to record. So if members from different areas or different time zones want to make plans to meet up, you have access to the Zoom and you can do that. I ask that you don't use it for meeting up with people outside of the membership, but you're always welcome to post in the group and say, I was thinking about a Zoom on Wednesday at noon, and if I can join, I absolutely will join you, but you're welcome to set that up, and the link is in the classroom for you as well. I have done a lot of interviews with different people in the fiber world, so you get access to those replays as well. And yeah, it's just a fun place to hang out. And so someone asked also, I got an email about the difference between the monthly, the 6-month, and the annual membership. So I do offer different payment options for the membership. Let me see if I can share this instead. So if we go down here, so these are the current prices until the 15th. So it's $27 per month. If you want, you can also switch it to $149 for 6 months. So you save a little bit. And if you join for a year, then you get 2 months free over the course of the year. So you're paying for 10 months, but it is, you get 12 months worth of membership. So you have all of those options. I don't hold anything back. There are some memberships where you get access to different levels of content or different levels of support based on whether you're paying monthly or annually or whatever. I don't do that. I just really want to make this as attainable as I can for as many people as I can. And I mentioned I'm raising the price on the 15th. That's after 2 years of not raising the price. But as you know, life, everything keeps going up. And not only that, but the amount of content that's in the membership, that it's been added to the membership over the last 2 years also has grown a ton. So that is the answer to that. And then the other question I had was, someone was wondering, how do they know if sweater school is right for them? And I like to think of sweater knitting as something that if you can knit and you can purl and you can either decrease or increase depending on which direction that you want to knit a sweater, and we can take measurements and match the gauge to the pattern, then you can knit a sweater. It doesn't have to be this big, scary project. It feels scary because it's a lot of details, and so that's why I want to have this session where I talk about all of the things that I use, that I want you to use when you approach knitting a sweater. All of these different pieces of information that I want you to keep in mind as you approach a sweater. And, weed knit, I think beginners are more likely to maybe pick a blanket project as a project than a sweater, because there's no shaping to worry about. But if you pick a solid pattern, and I'll talk about some of the ways that I evaluate patterns also, then it's attainable. It's something that that is within reach. And if it's on your heart to create a sweater, I think that you are 100% capable of doing that. And I want to encourage you. I have, knitters that are more experienced in my audience who typically do also share with me, I've been knitting for 50 years or 60 years, and I learned something, or you mentioned an approach to thinking about something that they hadn't thought about before. So I do think it's kind of right for everyone. And I invite you to come and join me. Does anyone else have any other questions? Anything that is maybe holding you back from the membership? Questions about any of my patterns? Anything I can answer for you? Sean says, got to scoot, so I'm not late. Meeting up at my local knitting group. This was great. You are great. Merry Christmas and happy holidays to you and your family. All the best. Be safe out there. So I will send an email tomorrow with links to the replay and links to all of the workshops and all of that stuff. So you can pick whatever is best for you. And you can always email me if you have a question. If you are watching the replay, I'll put my email on the screen. Is hello@doublethestitches.com. And also, if you're interested in signing up as a pattern tester, it's doublethestitches.com/pattern testing. And there's a form, a short form for you to fill out there. As far as pattern testing, that's another question people ask often is, how do I pick my pattern testers? There are designers that have, requirements of pattern testers that require, a large social media following and things and a lot of marketing on their behalf. And I never ask that of my testers. I am always grateful for any places that you want to share any of my designs when you test them. And I do require, photos to show that you have knit the project, that yours looks like mine, because that's the goal of testing, is to make sure that, it's a user experience test in some ways. I want to know what is tricky, what maybe what things you stumble on, but I don't limit it to people that have large followings who can market on my behalf, and I don't limit it to advanced knitters, because I also want to know what those earlier knitters, those beginner knitters, are struggling with, because they both types of knitters, or both skill levels of knitters, approach knitting differently and look at patterns differently. And anyone can buy a pattern there's no like ID or check, skill level check in order to make a purchase. So that's why I include pattern testers of all skill levels. So there's no thing about your social media following is too small, or you're not advanced enough. If you can knit and you can purl and you can follow instructions, then you can test patterns for me. So that's really all I had to share with you all. I see there is another comment. Darlene asked, what kind of timelines do you give for a tester? So typically I average around, when I calculate how long to give for a test, I will typically work based on the guideline that a test knitter typically knits around 100 to 150 yards of knitting per week, regardless of the yarn weight, right? It's the knits and the purls. And so I kind of estimate it based on that. I've seen some crazy test calls lately, like a sort of crocheted sweater in like 8 days. I will never do that to you. Sweaters, I've only published one sweater pattern before. I have another one that's been on the back burner. So a sweater would be in the range probably of 2.5, 3 months as far as a timeline. A hat might be in the range of 2 to 3 weeks. A cowl, it would depend on the time. So say, for example, a shawl, right? A shawl is, if it's a one skein, like a small shawl that is 400 yards, I would probably give around 3 to 4 weeks. Maybe I would aim for 4 weeks, so like 100 yards per week. I may add a buffer to that, and maybe make it 5 weeks if it is a more complicated stitch pattern. If it's something very, very simple, then it would probably be like in the range of 4 weeks to knit a one skein shawl. 700 yards for like a bigger shawl, 800 yards would be longer. And Neith says, I love how you and Hortense seem to continually put yourself in the perspective of a wide range of knitters and crocheters whenever making decisions like yardage per week and low vision and pattern versions. Yeah, thank you so much, Neith, for that. Yes, so for those of you who don't know, many of my patterns also include a low vision version of my patterns. And it's more than just a large print. It is tested, set up, written in a way that can be read by those that use a screen reader software. You can use something like Adobe Acrobat, or there are fancier options as well. Low vision is something that is a struggle for a lot of knitters, crafters, especially as we start to get older and we struggle more with reading the really small print, like in magazines where it's teeny tiny a lot of the times. Typically, my regular size, regular print format patterns, I aim for like a 12-point font. And then there is an additional low vision version if I feel like it works for that, where the font size is 22 to 24 points. It's all black ink. Everything is spelled out. And I have some of my knitters that are not officially, dealing with low vision or vision loss, but just prefer working from those patterns because there's no abbreviations. So instead of K2TOG, it will say knit two together. Instead of saying DEC, it'll say decrease. Instead of saying ST, it'll say stitch. So like everything is spelled out so that the screen reader can read it. Funny thing, if it says ST on a screen reader, it will read it as street. So it will say knit 7 street. So, I tested, I listen to the whole pattern and make sure that everything is being read correctly. And there's other, requirements as well to qualify to be a low vision pattern. But if that's something that you struggle with, reach out, because I have some resources I can share where you can find how to find those patterns on Ravelry and another place as well. Darlene says, those are great timelines. I'm a slow knitter due to health issues. Yeah, I try, I want to make everything as accessible to as many people as possible. Why not, right? All right, friends. Does anyone else have any other questions for me before I sign off? Otherwise, like I mentioned, you can always send me an email, and I will be in your inbox tomorrow with all of those links for you. Take a quick sip. All right. All right. Thank you so much, friends, for joining me, for watching this. Make sure you check out Marley Bird's 24 Days of Quickies and check out Lizzie's party. You have until 8 o'clock California time, Pacific time, to register. And then you'll have until sometime in January to actually claim the things that you would like. And Lee says, I don't actually use the low vision, but I have family who would need it if they knit. And I love how you cross-post videos to YouTube because it helps me a lot with migraine issues to be able to stream it on my TV, which doesn't trigger them like a laptop phone video does. And then I use chat on the laptop without watching. Oh, that's good to know. All right. And Darlene says, I hope you have a great rest of the day. And Pam says, thank you, Jessica. My pleasure, everyone. Reach out if you have any questions, if you need me for anything, and I will be in touch soon. Take care.